Hi friends, welcome to Active Self-Protection Extra. On today's lesson, I want to talk about another dumb gun saying, and that is, just rack the shotgun and that'll send them running off. I use Throom targets on the range for all the benefits of steel with none of the drawbacks. They're made in the USA too. Pick up a set to make your shooting more fun and effective. Seriously, I hate sayings like this, and I'm going to tell you why from a practical perspective as well as from a tactical perspective, why it's just not so. Now, if you followed Active Self-Protection Extra for any length of time, you know I love the house howitzer for home defense. I love shotguns. I think a shotgun is an incredibly useful tool. In fact, I would even argue the best tool for home defense for most private citizens, even better than a carbine. And yet, that said, there's this popular thing, and we jokingly call it FUD lore, right? So it's after Elmer Fudd, be very, very quiet, that says, well, here I am. If I've got, an intruder in the house, then really all I got to do here is just rack the shotgun and that'll send them running. And this fails. It fails on a number of levels, and I want to tell you why. Number one, it can work, but these are the same people that as soon as they see a person show up, they run off. And so what we see in home invasions all the time is that, they aren't expecting people to be home. They're expecting it to be a burglary and not a home invasion. And if you watch the main Active Self-Protection channel, you see it all the time, that you see somebody who thinks they are breaking into a home that's empty. Then as soon as a door opens and they see there's someone there, they scatter. So if it does, okay, that sound of the shotgun, but that's just a noise that there's another person around that's really scaring them off. It's not the shotgun that scares them off. It's your presence that scares them off. And that's good. I mean, if your presence scares them off and they don't get away with a bunch of stuff and you didn't have to have a gunfight with them, winning. But if that's the case, my voice will do just as well and my shotgun should be ready. And if my shotgun is not ready and in a ready condition where I could bring it to bear, well then I'm challenging somebody, and the person that it won't drive off is a person who is a determined aggressor. Not your typical home invader. We're not talking about your typical meth head looking for a score to get some more meth. We're talking about a hardened criminal now, somebody who is willing to have a gunfight with you and or take you hostage and those things. And this is a serious fight that you need to be ready for and own. So that brings us to the tactical part. So, okay, fine. Now what we're going to say is that if I'm in my back room or whatever and I rack this shotgun, maybe they don't hear it. We'll talk about that in a minute. But otherwise, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to have one of two things. Either I'm going to have on a pump shotgun like this, on an 870, what I have to do is I have to press the trigger in order to release the action bars, or I can use the action bar release. But if I choose to use the action bar release right here and unlock this shotgun, well, now I'm not in a condition where I can fire this shotgun. So, okay, maybe I've got a full tube or whatever. I press this action, I run the shotgun. Now I get my hands on the shotgun. That's all going to take me a little bit of time. Alternately, of course, this is a cleared shotgun. Check the chamber, check the lifter, check the magazine, everything empty. So we have a dry gun. We can point it in the direction of least consequence, press the trigger in a dry rep, and we're okay. Now I have a shotgun that I have run the action on and dropped the trigger. So now I have an open action and a dead trigger. So I have a gun without a round in the chamber. I have a gun with a dead trigger right now, and it's an opened action. Well, now again, I can come in there, see this guy. Now what do I have in my hand right now? So let's just say, again, I haven't done this where I don't have a bad guy, but now I've come to a place where I'm in the same room as a determined attacker, and I have a empty shotgun. I have a shotgun that's not loaded. So now I have to get that shotgun ready in the presence of a deadly threat, because of course that's the only reason that I would use a firearm, is when I must use a firearm and I don't have other options in order to protect my life against a threat of death or great bodily harm. That's the moral standard. And of course, we're good, sane, sober, moral, prudent people. So from a tactical perspective, now I have a shotgun that is unloaded around a deadly threat, and I'm starting my gunfight functionally with a malfunction. That's stupid. That's stupid. So I have a dummy around here just to kind of show what we're talking about now. So now, again, we run the action, we triple verify, and when we verify a shotgun, the way that I like to articulate that is that I check the chamber, check the lifter, check the magazine tube. Learned that from Tom Givens and reinforced by Matt Hott. 3-part here for a shotgun because it is tubular in its application. Okay, fine. So let's just say that we have this guy set up correctly in cruiser ready condition. That for an 870 or a, let's say it's closet ready. We're gonna run this guy closet ready. So we have the safety off, we have the trigger dead and down, and we have a full magazine tube in our pump action shotgun. Now, generally we'd keep this one short. That's a video for another day. So then I have this gun put away, safely stored, put in a long gun safe that's quick access or something like that. Maybe should have this guy with some kind of a Ranger band on it or something like that to keep my sling from getting all over the place. It's, again, topics for another day. But what this means then is now how do I get this guy in ready condition? Well, quite frankly, I want to get it in ready condition the minute I get it in my hand, because if I have something bump in the night or I decided, hey, I'm going to the safe to get a gun, to get a long gun, I know there's big problems, and as soon as I get that gun, I want that gun to be ready to use. So what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to now grab this gun. I keep mine up like this, muzzle up, again, chamber empty and magazine tube full. Pick it up, grab it in both hands, all right? Now, if I am of utmost speed, I know something bad is happening and I need to get to it quickly, run the action as hard as you can. If I'm thinking, man, there's a bump in the night around here, I really got to look at things, or there's some unrest outside, it's not in my house right now, but I don't want to announce myself, well then I don't have to run this 870 as hard as all get out. I can simply pull it to the back, bring it forward, and now my gun is completely in battery. And you notice that just took me being a little bit cautious with it, but I did run it all the way to the rear and all the way to the front. Then of course, we're gonna turn it over and we are going to put our sling on, which for me as a lefty means over my left shoulder, because of course, our long guns have slings on them. I think every long gun, including home defense guns, should have a sling, and if it's going to leave the location where you take it out of the safe, it should have a sling on it, and so, which I will tend to do. So put the sling on, don't leave it dangly bits and those things, and then go about and do your business. So now, again, from that position, once I've got that, I actually want to make sure that if I'm going to sling it and go do things, that my safety is on. But remember, in our ready position for shotguns, this one's backwards for me, it's actually my son's gun, that if I'm ready, if I'm looking and going, gosh, I may very well need to shoot somebody right now, on a shotgun, because of the difference where the safety is in the manual of arms, unless I'm running a Mossberg, I take that safety into the off position, and you know, that's that old "this is my safety" sort of thing. So that's how I get that sucker ready. So just rack a shotgun and you'll scare him off. That's dumb. I don't care what President Biden said. That's stupid. A, it doesn't make any sense to have an unloaded gun in the presence of a deadly threat. B, if they'll be run off, then they'll be run off by your mere presence. That's not to say don't go out with a gun, but that's to say to announce yourself with a loaded gun rather than use the shotgun as the announcement, because that means you've got an unloaded gun in the presence of a deadly threat. Just as effective to have my gun as soon as I get it up, to get that gun loaded in and administratively ready, so it's in a ready condition, and then announce myself. Get out of my house, I have a gun. Get out of my house, I've called the police, something like that. Or if I see that threat, freeze, show me your hands, something like that. Announce yourself rather than keep a unloaded gun in the presence of a deadly threat. So stop saying rack the shotgun to scare away the bad guy. Pretty please?